This is a rational inequality. With rational inequalities, we actually have two parts. We have something called a critical value, which is whatever's in the denominator. Now, anytime you have a fraction with a denominator, you have a restriction. You cannot have a 0 in the denominator. So we're going to set this denominator equal to 0, and we're going to say, okay, what would make that a 0? A -3 would make that a 0, which means that for this problem, -3 cannot be an answer. So I'm going to draw myself a number line, and I'm going to put -3 on it, and I'm going to say, okay, no matter what, while I'm doing this problem, -3 can't be an answer. So I'm going to put a big X on it so that I'll remember that. I'm going to go back now. The other part of this problem is, what would the answer be if there was no inequality there? So if I look at this problem and I try to determine what my answer would be if there was no inequality, it has a fraction in it. So normally we would find the common denominator, which in this case is x plus 3, and we would multiply x plus 3 times both sides of that problem. That's how we dealt with it when we learned how to do this before. And so on the left, cancels out, that's why we do it. And on the right, 0 times anything is 0. So my answer here is -5. So that's the second part of this problem. I'm going to take my same number line that I had before, and I'm going to put -5 on it. Now, -5 may or may not be a part of this answer. Since my original problem does have an equal sign in it, right here, if the interval that the -5 is included in ends up being a part of the answer, then the -5 is part of the answer. If there had been no inequality symbol with an equal sign in it as a part of my problem, I would put another X on that -5 and it would not be included either. So what I need to do now is I need to test the intervals. So I'm going to pick some number lower than -6, some number lower than -5, which might be a -6, some number between -5 and -3, and some number bigger than -3. And I'm going to put those in the original problem. So here's my original problem. And I'm going to test those numbers. So I'm going to test -6. And let's just see what happens. When I do my math, I get -1 over -3, which is positive 1/3. Positive 1/3 is not less than 0, so it doesn't work. So let's go back to our number line. That means that -6 does not work. So we're going to X it out. Let's check that -4 and see if it works. So let's go back to our original problem, and we're going to put, let's see, we're going to put -4 in there. So we've got -4 plus 5 is 1, -4 plus 3 is -1, -1 is less than 0, so that one works. Let's go back to our number line. Let's see, that one does work, so we're going to put a big check mark on this one. Okay, now let's test that 0. X plus 5 over x plus 3 less than or equal to 0. We're going to put a 0 in there. 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 3 is 3. 5/3 is not less than 0. So that one does not work either. So let's see. That one doesn't work, so we're going to put another big X on here. Now, what we do to get our final answers, we look at those intervals and we go, okay, that one doesn't work. This one does work. And it goes from -5. -5 is included because there is an equal sign, so we're going to put a bracket around that -5. It goes all the way to -3, but remember the X that we put on it? That was to remind us that it is not a part of the answer, and we put parentheses when it's not a part of the answer. So this is our final answer for this problem.